We are laughing.
We're having fun.
Ah.
Well, we are up and running. Looks like GLHG is here.
Oh, crap. You heard that?
I don't know. What's up, GLHG? I think the other people in it is us. So, all right. It's a solo show for you.
Heard that?
I don't know. Who's got their phone up? What's up, GLHC? I think the other people in it is us. So, all right. Who's that? Who's got their phone up? That's Delvin. I don't know. Mute your phone, Delvin. Who's got their phone up? What's up, GLHC? I think the other people in it is us. So, all right. There you go. I do like listening to our own show, though.
It was totally Jason.
I can see on my end which is broadcasting sound.
Yeah, I can see it too. The image gave it away, Delvin.
Shut your mouth. You totally Jason.
Don't worry, Jason. They can't pin this one on you.
Well, oh my goodness, I the collector in the house. Ivan, what's up, brother? From across the pond. That's cool. You know who's not in the house? Is Pat Sampson. Pat Sampson's not in the house.
Oh.
Yeah, Pat is at a soccer game today. We're expecting live scoring updates from him so we can let you know how his son's soccer team is doing. Keep you There you go. And
what's his team's name anyway? I don't even know what his team's name is.
I know. They should know that.
The Pat McGrowans.
All I know is that I hope his son gets his athletic skills from his mother.
Oh, goodness.
I feel like there's something I could do with my camera to make, my face more available there. I can hide in the shadows on purpose or something.
Yeah, you can do like a witness protection program, like
can we distort his
voice?
Everybody.
Yeah.
But he's asked to have his identity protected.
My name is Matt Delvin Williams.
Oh man,
comic books. Comic books are cool.
Kirk Spencer's in the house. What's up, Kirk? Welcome to the show. Please come inside.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends.
So let me tell you, while Jason
sings, come
inside. What you're in for today, we're doing a live recording of an upcoming episode of Saturday Matinee Theater. Once again, Pat Sampson will not be joining us today. He's at his son's soccer game.
He's at a soccer game. Boys insane.
So you guys, once again, if you were at the last one that we did of these, what did we do? I think it was a Chronicles episode we did on our...
no idea that was like a month ago.
And now you get to see how the sausage is made once again about how we make a podcast behind the scenes, and this is highly accurate already.
Yep.
We spend about 80% of the time trying to get Jason to shut up. Oh, Pat Sampson's in. The score is 0-0, everyone. Pat Sampson's here. Score is 0-0.
Ask him what his son's team name is so we know who to root for.
That's right.
All over it.
I suspect, if I know Pat pretty well, they're probably called the Vapes or perhaps the Smugglers.
Yeah. That's right. Or the Bourbons.
Could be the Bourbons. Could be the Betty Fords. We don't know.
Get drunk off the score.
Now, if you stop by to watch me draw today, that'll probably be a little bit hit and miss because I'm the host of this show, so I won't be drawing a lot unless someone goes on and on and on. The dialogue is like blah, 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 blah. So when Jason's talking, I'll be drawing. So look forward to that.
I feel like I should bust out in song, but I also feel like I've pushed you to the edge. With
you say what you want about it, but his instincts are solid. Oh, goodness. Well, we will be doing some giveaways as usual. We will do a Crusaders Club giveaway. I just realized that without Pat here, I'm going to have to pull up my own randomizer, but that's okay. I can do that later in the show.
We can pull up a randomizer, right?
Sure.
All you got a number.
So, yeah, all we got to do is basically put in a number, and I've got the list of of Crusaders Club members, and you just pull up Google random number generator, and I believe we have 17 Patreon subscribers now. So thank you to all you subscribers.
17, holy cow.
17. We're going to be getting a cotton candy machine at Mongo pretty soon.
I vote we get another seat for that spaceship, man. I'm tired of having to stand.
We'll get you that handle. We wrapped that handle in duct tape, so it was an easier grip.
I do appreciate that.
I mean, that's what our budget allows right now. If we had more patrons, we could maybe get an actual bucket seat, maybe something from the junkyard out of an old, 1984 Camaro for you to sit in. Won't actually be bolted down. Sweet, it won't be bolted to anything. You'll be sliding all over.
That'd be kind of legit. Put a little crash helmet on me.
Oh, goodness. So, anybody else that I got to welcome to the show here?
I found a random number generator, and Pat's son's team name is Phoenix.
Phoenix!
Oh, Phoenix, like a phoenix from the ashes.
Rising from Arizona. Ah! Ooh, sound effects Delvin's on top of things today. So we'll also be giving away, if you're not a Crusaders Club member, which, let's see, GLHG, I believe he's a member. Maybe not. Can't remember off the top of my head. Sorry, GLHG. Let's see. I know that Ivan the Collector is. So he's got a 1 in 17 shot. And I believe Kirk Spencer needs to be. No pressure, Kirk. But
Kirk, it's a dollar.
It's a dollar, Kirk.
When we get a dollar,
Kirk could sell off the. I was going to say doubles, no triples, no quadruples, no quintuples of comics in his collection, and become a lifelong member at $75 a month. That man has got the largest collection of comics and comic paraphernalia I've ever seen.
You never know when you're going to need 5 copies of A-Team #1.
You see, you joke. But let's watch the chat, because I'm almost certain he's got 5 copies of A-Team #1. It's something special. Oh, I appreciate GLHC. Didn't mean to put you on the spot, but you do pump us out on social media, so we do appreciate you, man. He's not officially a patron,
but he's still one of us,
man. Ivor Evans. Wait. No. Okay, yes. Never mind. I was about to defend myself, but I was wrong. He called me the Captain America First Avenger hater. And I was about to be like,
you were the Captain America First Avenger hater. I was going back through
it got my lowest rank. It got my lowest ranking in its first round.
Yeah, you can burn Adele too.
I don't hate it. I love Winter Soldier. I like First Avenger. Just, man, you can't screw up the Red Skull like that and get a high score. You just can't.
I agree with you on that. I agree with you.
Yeah, I kind of wish they would have done more with Red Skull. You were right about that.
I mean, like when Red Skull showed up in what was the one before the most current
Infinity War.
Infinity War. I was like, oh yeah.
See, I said I said I think he's coming back. I don't think
but even then it was still kind of a little like, all right, that's cool.
But for the movie, they should have done more to establish his bona fides a little bit better.
And he was all like, "Hi, everybody! I'm the Red Skull. Remember me?"
You could tell because my face is like a skull and it's red.
Also, red involved. Am I right? Yes, Red Skull.
Oh man!
Always a pleasure to see you, Red Skull.
Oh man, I would love to talk some Endgame, but I know Jared hasn't seen it. Jason, have you seen it yet?
No, I have not. I scheduled with Drake to go see it on Friday.
Okay. Well, I will be a good dark web and not spoil it, other than to say it was amazing.
$1.2 billion in its opening weekend.
That is, I mean, somewhere in Disney, there's someone like sitting in a room just good.
I think it's Robert Downey Jr.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's somewhere about 5%. He gets 5% of the gross. 5%.
Where's my calculator?
That is at
1.2 billion
is
$60
million.
An S ton of money.
Yeah,
calculator says
that is a lot. Also known as an S ton. I agree. Your calculator is correct, Jason.
That is a lot of money. That's a smart businessman right there. Do you think he's got to be like the richest paid actor in Hollywood by now, right?
He had to be. I mean, yeah. Good grief.
He pulled what's known in the business as an Alec Guinness, which Jason probably gets, but Delvin might need to explain.
Alec Guinness did the same thing for Star Wars. He worked for Peanuts, but he got a percentage of all the royalties, including the toys and everything. And
yup. If it says Star Wars on it, the Guinness estate gets a cut. Holy jingleberries, man. That's some money. That's some money right there. So, yep. Speaking of which, if you want to buy this Darth Vader cover, it'll be available in my store. Probably like $40. Can I get $40? I need that Tony Stark money.
Man, I saw that Brett Booth had a commission or something that didn't sell at a Comic-Con, and he was putting it up for sale for $400, and I was like, "Dang!"
Some of them folks, man.
400. I mean, it was a sweet drawing, but I'm like, "Dang!" I'm not. That is not to disparage Mr. Booth in any way. I enjoy his artwork, but dang.
You'd be on you can watch like Jim Lee's live stream when he's drawn, and he's just kind of like half-assing it, like da, 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 and then somebody's like, "Oh, I want it." He's like, "Oh, is $1,000 okay? Sure." Jeez. All right. I think it's Robert Downey Jr. who's watching that channel. Got that cold grand to drop. I mean, it's Jim Lee, so Jim Lee's half-ass is pretty much my whole ass, and then some.
So
that didn't sound like a compliment, but it is.
Crusaders Club card to your booth, Jared? What's your last con?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Darth Ron showed up at my last convention, presented his Crusaders Club card, got his free print, and he actually brought me drinks and sat at my table for me so I could go to the restroom, and he's just a wonderful, wonderful guy. So shout out Darth Ron.
Darth Ron? That doesn't sound very Sith-like at all. That sounds more like a Jedi. Helping you out.
Surprised Darth hasn't joined us yet. Him and Juan Biotti told me yesterday they were stopping by. So
right now they're a bunch of liars.
A pack of liars. Come on, Juan. I know you guys probably saw this, but I added to my James Bond original art collection that con, and since it's sitting here, I'll put it on the screen. Jeff Whiting, who used to draw the Tick comic books.
Very nice.
Did James Bond Tick, so that's pretty sweet. Shaken and stirred.
Oh, that is very nice.
Did anybody catch the Ming and Flash commission that Darren and Ruth got?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It was
Ron
nice.
Randall. Was it Ron? No, it was Jeff Parker that did that.
It was nice.
Wow.
Sweet.
My only complaint was like needs less pants.
It was he weird.
Pants ratio is too high.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it looked good. It looked really good.
That's cool. Anybody else we need to welcome before we maybe start doing a show?
Ron went.
Ron went, mate. We spoke his name and he appeared.
It's like Candyman.
That's Darth Ron right there, y'all. He's a good dude. Like I said, first ever to use his Crusaders Club card. And nice guy. Took good care of me at the show. Brought me lunch, man. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about Classy Ron. Well, we're not talking no Taco Bell. We're not talking about no Burger King. All right, he brought me Outback Steakhouse Alice Springs chicken.
What?
To my table.
Well,
better than Uber Eats right there, man.
That's better than me. I mean, that's all y'all getting at the house is Taco Bell.
Well, yeah, I'm down for it. You know that.
Oh, wait a minute.
When we were at Heroes Con, I went and got Church's chicken, and I just came back and said that Church's chicken was good, yo.
Yeah, I remember.
Like, hold on, there's some on my finger. All right.
But yeah, that Darth Ron. Shout out to Darth Ron. He's the man.
He said he hired you an escort as well.
Yeah.
Like that's just going all out.
It is going all out. That's a good friend right there.
Hopefully you pay by the minute.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the hepatitis is forever, but you know.
Hepatitis is forever.
Forever.
Oh, now we got to make sure we get a version of that song as sung by Mary Jane Watson. That song's already dirty enough if you really listen to the lyrics.
Oh, it is.
It is pretty dirty.
Oh, goodness. So we got welcome to Ron, and looks like we got, what, GLHG, Ron, Ivan Chudley, Ivor Evans is rocking it. Of course, DJ Crusaders himself is in here. We're going to find out who's going to win some stuff. Should I give a preview of what they win?
Yes.
Probably should. That way they'll stick around.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Absolutely.
Since we're doing a Sherlock Holmes today, the winner from the Crusaders Club drawing, which we'll do at the end for our Crusaders Club members, will receive 1984 print version of the classic illustrated Sherlock Holmes. This is the cool stuff. This has got the original drawings in it from the Strand magazine as it was printed in the late 1800s. It's super cool.
That looks professional.
So you got all the Sherlock Holmes stuff from Strand magazine with the original drawings in it. Nice little book. So if you're in the Crusaders Club, look for that.
That's some top quality S there.
That's nice. Yeah. This is another one of those exciting things I found in my yard sale runs. Only sad part, got a little tear in the dust jacket, but from 1984, you kind of have to expect that.
We all have a little tear, Jared.
Yeah, we do.
It's the scars that make us who we are.
And for the people who are just joining us and watching it at the end of today's episode, hopefully you've got an Xbox 360 because I'm going to be giving away a copy of Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper on Xbox 360. So that will be for those folks. Delvin left. He was unimpressed. All right, well.
He's coming to your location now to try to convince you to give up those goodies.
So it's a Sherlock Holmes kind of day, folks. If you're a Crusaders Club member, you're in the drawing for the big book. If you are just in the chat today, stopping by, thanks for being here. You will be entered to win the Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper 360 game.
And I didn't leave, Jared. I was trying to adjust the curtains to help with the lighting, and it didn't help at all.
Yeah, I was trying to adjust the curtains.
Got that witness protection going on.
Just wasting my damn time. Well.
Well, all right. I guess we'll start doing a show, and I'll get back to this cover later as we get into our post chat. Because good news, folks, if you were on the episode where we did the Chronicle show, those usually take about twice as long to record as Saturday Matinee Theater does. But we make no promises.
Well, it's only three of us, so it usually goes shorter with three of us as opposed to four of us as well.
True. There is only three of us.
So Dave isn't going to step up and be a hero today?
I guess not. Dave Collins isn't in the chat. He decided not to join us after I forgot to invite him. So.
That is just rude of him.
I know, right?
How dare luckily, the invitation that wasn't extended.
Luckily, he's not here to hear that story. But yeah, I kind of slipped through the cracks.
Okay, that's all right. We can get this done.
If anybody would like to fill in for Dave, the Patreon is only $1 a month.
That's all it costs. That's all it costs to be a guest host on the show. $1 a month.
$1 a month. Actually, one of our raffles that we're going to be doing later in the year is for we will pick someone from our patron list to be a guest on the show. So we'll get you on the show at some point, peoples. And just to show you how the sausage is made and give you a look behind the scenes at some podcasting stuff, we use Google Docs. So we share our little scripts. Everybody's got theirs. You can see mine sitting here.
Quite true. Quite true.
This is what we use. The script isn't, if you've ever listened to our shows, you know they're not fully scripted.
Most of them are pretty well scripted. We just don't stick to it.
The script really just kind of provides our left and right limits and kind of lets us know the signposts along the way, and the rest is just made up.
Kind of a, how do you say, formality.
Exactly. Oh, goodness. My phone keeps going to sleep, so I can't see what's going on.
Scripts of tombstones, baby.
Pow, pow, pow. All right. I'm going to blow my nose now. Everybody can hear it because we're live.
We'll edit that out, folks. Don't worry.
Real quick, I'm going to run and get some water. Half a second.
Half a second. Water for Delvin.
Don't forget that ice.
Plenty of ice, so I can have to edit out that clinking noise. So while he's gone, we will record all this, and then through the magic of DJ Crusaders, he will grab just the audio track from this YouTube live stream, and then he will send that to me. Wait, let me correct myself. This is Saturday Matinee Theater. He will send it to Jason.
Yep.
Jason does the audio cleanup for Saturday Matinee Theater. So basically, he goes in, pulls up the audio files, cuts out all the long pauses, all the ums, uhs. You'd be amazed at how often you just like there, you stutter, you stammer, you do repeated words.
Repeat.
These are all things that Jason will clip out from Saturday Matinee Theater. And
I make us sound smart.
Yep. He will cut out the jokes that don't land when nobody laughs. Or if he's like me, after you do a bunch of tracks, you start saving some pretty good laughs just as a separate file. And then you put those laughs in after your own joke. So it sounds like it landed really well. Now, that's a little tip out there.
Anybody that's funnier than me, I cut out.
And there you have it. That's a show.
Appropriate.
So once Jason's done cleaning the audio, then he sends it to DJ Crusaders, Mr. Pat Sampson himself, and then Pat puts in the audio effects. So when you hear the music or any other sort of audio effect that's not just raw dialogue, that's Pat. And then Pat uploads it to the podcasting distributors. And that's how the podcasts are made, folks, in case you ever wondered. That's how it's done.
It's a labor of love.
It's a labor of love. And with that, we're ready to do a show. And we will
do it live.
We will do it live, literally on the live stream. In 3, 2. Hello and welcome to episode 28. And this time I actually got the number right as opposed to a previous episode where I said it was 26, but it was actually 27. Listen, podcasting's hard, people. That's all you need to know. Welcome to episode 28 of Saturday Matinee Theater, brought to you by your friends at the Longbox Crusade. We are here in jolly old England. And for those who are listening and watching on the live stream, please don't call us out on this BS, all right? Let us live in our fantasy world. Okay? We're in England. We're in England.
Absolutely.
Close your eyes and pretend you're in England.
We're here in jolly old England in our see, there's something for Jason to cut out. In our recording studio set up at 221B Baker Street. I'm your host, Jared Albrecht, the yard sale artist, and joining me as always.
We sent him to Paris to investigate.
Yes. I was about to say it's the Watson and my Sherlock, Pat Sampson, but he's not here. He's not here.
This is weird.
He's in Paris. I sent him ahead.
I'm so lonely.
All right.
So skipping over Dr. Crusaders, our Watson. But we know it. We still have my older, wiser brother, the Mycroft and my Sherlock. We have Jason, the Weasel Skull Albrecht. What is up, Jason?
Well, since Pat's gone, I say we crack open this liquor cabinet.
Yes.
It's brandy for everybody.
Brandy for everyone.
Well, you're right.
All right. What's in this box from the baker? It's an extra long spotted dick.
Oh, my.
Spotted dick for everybody.
Hang on a second. I'm going to walk over here and Sean, you got to get out of here. Pat's gone.
What do you want?
Pat's gone, man. You want some brandy?
I'm in here with a couple of ladies. If you don't mind, I've got to make myself decent.
Oh.
Put on this smoking jacket.
Hey, guys. Making himself decent.
The smoking jacket was a nice gesture, Mr. Connery, but how about some pants? Don't go crazy, laddies. So what's going on out here, boys? I see. It's playtime for my little lads. How we doing today, Mini Probe? How are things?
Death Probe.
Weasel Skillet, you looking good? Looking good? Yeah? Gotta lay off that spotted dick, son. No. And, it's a black guy. What's your name?
Dark Web. Dark Web, sir.
Sean.
What's your name, boy?
We got to talk.
What's your name? What was it before you changed it?
I get it. You get it.
Hey, yeah. Did I tell you I won an Academy Award for that?
Yes. Yes.
Hey.
Why did I knock on his door?
I don't know.
Oh, we got some drinks. We got some spotted dick. And wait a minute. Who are all these people that are watching us right now?
Sir, you know what? Don't even worry about it, Sean. Why don't you
Who are you over there? Who are you with those beady eyes?
Just go back to the room with the lady, Sean, please. We'll throw some brandy in there. Yes.
You guys are just weird. God. All right. So that's Sean Connery, everybody.
Thanks for stopping. But I don't know why I knocked on his door.
And he's taking the brandy with him. Okay.
All right. Well, that was short-lived.
Yep.
Yeah, well, we tried to fight for our right to party, but
the old Sean fought harder.
He sure did. We also have with us today, as you probably already heard, our favorite constable. It's Delvin the Dark Web Wilkins. What's up today, Bobby Wilkins?
Oh, not too much. Watching the episode, I was inspired, to sing a song, Sweet Caroline. Good times never seem so good. So good. So good. So good. Okay. I couldn't help it. That was the first thing I thought of when I saw Caroline.
I don't remember there being a Caroline in this episode, so hopefully this is going to work out.
That was the name that he wrote.
Oh, right. Yes, I remember. Okay, I feel better.
On the steps of the church.
Technically, I think it was Carolyn.
Look,
A-N.
You are not getting in the way of my joke.
All right.
You won't do it.
All right. I'm glad, because for like a few seconds I was like, what episode did he watch? This is going to get weird.
That's okay. Like, I would have been out marching to my own beat. Like, oh yeah, and the part where they went to the bridge.
So this is episode 28 and 29, apparently.
Oh
goodness.
I'm with Sean.
Well, without having our good friend Dr. Crusaders here with us today, the part of Crusaders will be played by my brother Jason, the Weasel Skull Albrecht. So, Jason, should this be folks' first episode, and if it is, welcome. Would you let them know what the rundown is in the show?
Certainly, Jared. I'd love to. Saturday Matinee Theater is a retro review, sometimes index show, brought to you by the Longbox Crusade, where we will be taking you back to the past with some potentially overlooked retro awesomeness in the realm of television, movie serials, or films. Basically, if it's vintage and it's kind of forgotten, we're going to dig it up. On this episode, we will continue our indexing of all 39 episodes of the 1954 television series, Sherlock Holmes. 1954 Sherlock Holmes was produced by Sheldon Reynolds. It starred Ronald Howard as Sherlock Holmes and H. Marion Crawford as Dr. Watson, who can throw those elbows. So take off your deerstalker cap, light your pipe, get cozy by the fireplace, and let the soothing violin of Mr. Sherlock Holmes whisk you away into the past. And without Pat, I guess we only have Jared to pick up the violin.
I got it. Don't you worry. I've been practicing. Why don't you listen to this?
Oh, here we go.
And while we're on a break, let's get into the chat. See anybody else join?
Ross Michaud.
Ross Michaud in the house.
Ross Michaud showed up. There was a little bit of laughter at our improvised Sean Connery.
Once again, folks, that's 100% not scripted. Jason dreams something up in his head, and we just try to roll with it.
And away we go.
It's not in the script, I assure you, and I'm not BSing you for once. All Sherlock Holmes bits you've ever heard, whether it's me or Jason doing the impression. I mean, we have Sherlock Holmes on the show, or Sean Connery on the show. I mean,
and Mary Jane
Mary Jane, yes. Yeah. Anyway, all Sean impressions. And Christopher Walken. Though none of that's scripted. None of it.
None of it.
So we just make it up. That probably shows.
Yeah, I don't think it's a shock to anybody.
Everybody's like, oh yeah, word.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that you just made that crap up, huh?
that's something. Yeah. Something.
Like, wait, you guys are proud of that?
I am proud of it.
By the way, Ross gave us a Public birth announcement. Spotted Dick had it once after leaving Holland. No worries. Child of penicillin, get you squared away.
Good to know. Good to know.
Good to know.
And Noah the Hyper Potato let us know that he did approve of the Sweet Caroline joke, but YouTube is currently drafting a copyright strike.
I don't think it's going to pick up in their algorithm.
I said, come on, sue me for pennies. Like, here you go. I got like 7 cents.
Yeah, I'll give you 70% of what we make. Nothing.
Oh, yeah, carry the 1, across the T, 0. Don't make crap. All right. And Green Lantern, HG, tells everybody, don't forget to give a like because it helps the channel. It does help the channel, Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate that. That was awesome of you to say.
Yes. GLHG is like the greatest recruiter. He is like our Flavor Flav. He is our hype man.
Yeah, boy.
All the way.
What?
No, that's Lil Jon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
I always
goodness.
get those two mixed up.
It's like, in a sense, Flavor Flav was the original Lil Jon. That's one way of thinking.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Welcome to Hip Hop History Class podcast.
Hopefully, Musical Genius Joe November would approve of that comment.
I hope so too.
Were he here, I think he would approve.
You know who's not here is Pat Sampson. I think we should let the listeners of the live stream in on a little bit of Pat Sampson trivia. He does not approve of the spotted dick joke one bit.
Nope.
Nope.
I believe it's because he had never heard of the British pudding dish of spotted dick. So he was very uncomfortable when we first started using it.
He
thought
I was trying to put one past him, I think.
Yeah. Geez. I just got him. There's nothing we can do with it. It's not good at all.
A frequent guest on the show from the Spider-Man universe, Mary Jane Watson. She loves the spotted dick. She'll sometimes take it 2 at a time.
Spotted or not.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's delicious.
Maybe we should get back to the show.
Oh, today's Pat is played by Del.
Any update on the scores?
The last one was 0-0 at half.
Come on, Phoenix. Get your game on.
That's right. It's time to rise up.
See, Pat already said he's going to bleep us.
Did he say something already?
He did.
There it is.
Tell him I cleaned the audio for this one too.
You gotta have to keep a close ear out, Pat.
Yeah, he's gonna have to have his game on.
Oh man.
Oh lordy. Okay, so at this point in the show, they'll be playing some violin music. If I know Pat the way I do, since it's me playing violin, it's probably gonna be less than stellar. So we will come back from that as if we were all listening to the violin music. And here we go. And how do you like me now, boys?
So, I mean, it's better.
Something.
I'm just like if you got like a 0 on a paper, for instance,
right?
And then like your next time you got like a 3,
right? Yep, infinite percentage increase.
That is a definite increase.
Yep.
Just as an example that I pulled at random.
So, using the random example, we got to ask ourselves a serious question here.
Yeah.
Like, when Pat comes back, how do we let him know that I'm replacing him in the violin piece portion of the show?
I
think we should break it to him gently. Let's let him go for a few more, say
11.
How many
more?
Yeah.
Yes.
How many episodes are there? And we're on. Let's let him go for 39 episodes.
Yeah.
And then we'll replace you.
On episode 40, though, dude, it is all yours.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I'm on it.
We'll break his heart at episode 40.
All right. I look forward to that.
Sweet. And with that, let's talk about some episode info. Episode 28 was titled The Case of the Deadly Prophecy. The original air date was 14 March 1955. The director was Sheldon Reynolds. The writers were George and Gertrude Fast. They fast. Guest stars. They write their scripts 10 letters at a time. With guest stars Nicole Corsel as Marie Grand, Jacques Francois as Dr. Dimanche, Yves Brainville as, I'm assuming that's Monsieur Caroline, Maurice Tignac as Count de Passevant, Helena Manson as Madame Soule, and Robert Labille as Manelli. As a reminder, all 39 episodes are available on YouTube. Jared, ignore that number. That's not true.
What? Wait, what the hell?
Oh, dude, no, that's a typo. It's 49. It's
49 episodes.
49
yeah,
episodes.
Are you sure?
Dude, like,
Pretty sure.
Will we lie? Will we lie?
Never.
Oh, exactly. All 39 episodes are available on YouTube. Ignore that, Jared. We highly encourage you to watch this episode before proceeding with this podcast, because not only is it just more fun that way, Jared is about to give a synopsis about this episode, and then we're going to discuss it. So there are probably some spoilers heading your way. So again, if you haven't watched this episode, we recommend you pause here, go check it out on YouTube, and then come back to join our discussion. And at only 26 minutes per episode, it's not a big time demand. For those of you who are watching along with us, we'd love to hear your insights. Don't forget to comment about the show on Twitter using the hashtag #I'mFollowingHolmes. I'll start. Hashtag #I'mFollowingHolmes. Jason.
Hashtag I'm following Holmes.
Jared.
Hashtag 2 spotted dicks at once. All right. Hashtag I'm following Holmes.
Quick, open the door and have Sean say hashtag I'm following Holmes.
Sean, hashtag I'm following Holmes.
Hashtag I'm following Holmes. And I'm getting 2 spotted dicks.
Close the door. Close the door. All right. And with that,
these chicks are getting some spotted dick 2 at a time.
Why did I do that?
I always regret inviting him on.
I don't know. It's like just coming back for more torture. And with that, let's turn it over to Jared for the episode summary.
Here we are. Oh, look at that hashtag I'm following Holmes in the chat.
That's what I want to see.
Love it. All right, plot summary. It's 4 a.m. at the Arnaud School for Boys, and one of the lads, Antoine, wakes up seemingly oblivious to everything around him, walks to the steps of a nearby church, and scrawls the name of the school's headmaster, Mr. Delvin.
Sweet Caroline.
All
right. On the steps with
So good. So good.
It's 4 a.m. at the Arnaud School.
I'm just going to draw Darth Vader for a little while. You guys get it all out.
All right. That's done. It's good. I'm all right.
Wherever I was. On the steps with chalk, and then he walks back to bed at the school. Mr. Carolyn and his assistant, Marie, witness the event, and not for the first time. The lad has done this before, 3 times before, each time with a different name, and each time the person with the name that young Antoine scrawls dies suddenly thereafter. Fearing for her boss's life, Marie suggests that they bring in Sherlock Holmes to solve the mystery. And Mr. Carolyn refuses. And then he dies. Don't worry, that's not the end of the episode.
So bad. So bad.
The only lead Marie is able to give Holmes is a local witch named Madame Soule, and she had visited all 4 victims to sell them charms that would protect them from death. In their investigation, our heroes also meet Mr. Manelli, a newly promoted headmaster of the school, and Dr. Dimanche. Dr. Dimanche, the town's doctor, and finally, they meet the town's royalty, Count de Passevant. Holmes brings all the players together in a classic murder mystery style to reveal which one has been orchestrating these ghastly murders and why. But what role does young Antoine play? Which one is the killer? What is the motive? Will Watson make his move on Marie? Tune in to find out. I think it's important at this point to remind the audience, and I'm sure we'll get to it, but Watson came through like Flash Gordon in this episode at the end.
Oh, man. That's a killer elbow he threw, man. Just right in that dude's ribs.
But this might come up. This might come up in highs and lows, and that's what we're going to do next. And while we're doing these highs and lows, we're going to do them in a roundabout order. We'll do 2 rounds and basically go Pat, Jason, Pat, Jason. If you watch the show and you're in the chat and you've got a high for it, put it in the chat. We'll probably read it because we could use an extra high or low for the episode. And with that,
just to be clear, I think it's Jason Delvin.
Right. Did I say Pat?
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be difficult.
He's here in spirit.
Well, Jared, I'm glad you asked.
Well, you see, you can do, Pat. No problem. All right. So let's get into our highs and lows, and we're going to start with Mycroft Jason. What do you think, man? High, low? What you got?
I started off with a high. I like the fact that they were called in to investigate on the continent in Belgium. I thought that was fun. It got us off of England, and it kind of shows how famous that Sherlock Holmes really is, how his reputation has spread all across Europe. So I thought that was kind of fun. Just a change of venue.
Yep. I was unsure where Arno was. Arno, right? Arno?
It was Arno.
I was unsure where Arno was. Did they actually say Belgium in the episode and I missed it, or are you just showing off your wicked geography skills?
No, I think they said it was Belgium at the beginning.
Oh, I missed it.
I mean, they did go to Paris, or Watson went to Paris, so I could be wrong, but I thought they said it was in Belgium.
I'll buy it.
Me too. I don't remember Belgium, like especially if like there was some traveling in there, and I kind of blacked out.
Anyway, they went to Europe. They went to the big Europe, not the little island.
Not the island, Europe.
Yeah. Continent, right.
Yeah, they went to the continent.
All right. What do you think, Delvin? High or low in your first round here?
So I'll go with a high. My high would be that it was a wire-to-wire mystery. There was like the entire time it was kind of building towards the end there, and I'm like, okay, all right, and got to be patient with this one. And sometimes they do that little mini reveal, but this time, no, it was no such reveal. Like the entire thing was kind of just leading to that end of where Holmes kind of had an idea, and then he figured it out. So I was actually kind of getting impatient. I kind of just wanted to see what was going on from the start, but they didn't give it away right away.
Indeed, sir. Indeed. Very classic murder mystery style.
Is there one that you guys prefer? Do you prefer it to be like that, kind of the feature length, the entire like 26 minutes or so being one solid, coherent mystery? Or do you kind of like it where there's kind of like that reveal and then there's like, you know, kind of another reveal at the end?
That's a good question.
I think for me, I like it more like this. I like not knowing. I like having to guess, not knowing who's behind it and being able to kind of, I like to write down like what my theory is as we start off into the episode and then see if that theory pans out. And, you know, so I like it when it's a long mystery.
For a bizarre change of pace, I probably agree with Jason. I think I like the wall-to-wall mystery aspect of it. I mean, it's nice to change it up every once in a while, but at the end of the day, I like that wall-to-wall mystery with the, reveal at the end. What about you, Delvin?
I think I like the feature length more. And I know that goes against what I just said, but I think I like the feature length a little bit more because when you do it right, it kind of feels like, if you're just like a sitcom or any 30-minute TV show where it's normally scripted for 22 minutes. But if you do it right, those 22 minutes last a long time. And it's the same way with 26 minutes, where if you know how to have a tight enough plot, you can get a lot of story told in 26 minutes. And I like that.
I like it too when they lay out the clues in front of you and let you try to pick up on them, as opposed to having the little reveals. I don't like the one so much where you know right away kind of who it is, and it's more Sherlock Holmes laying up the evidence, so to speak. I like when they lay out the clues to let you, the watcher, the viewer, pick it up.
Same. I like having a shot at it
Yeah, I like it. I like having a shot at it as well.
All right, cool.
I do have one more question there. Do you guys think that that was the case here? That there was a shot of solving this one? Or that you think it was more clues that Sherlock Holmes kind of found off camera?
I think the real mystery that you possibly could have solved on this one was motive. Because it was kind of obvious the kid had been hypnotized. And then, but the real question was, why were 3 of these victims basically, not wealthy, just not to be callous, but kind of nobodies? Like
right.
or 4 victims were kind of just common folk. And then you're like, so what's the killer get out of this? So to me, that was the most interesting reveal is the why.
Yeah, and I got to admit, I thought that was kind of brilliant.
Yeah, I was down for it.
Smart.
Absolutely down for it. And what's ironic is I only have 2 people to pass to, and I can't remember whose turn it is.
I think it's my turn.
All right, back to Jason for another round of highs or lows. What do you think?
Well, I think we'll go ahead and continue this conversation about the motive into my high. I really thought that it was a well thought out motive. I mean, at the end of the day, what the killer was doing was laying a foundation for a curse, right? And people will believe whatever they want to believe. And by killing these people that were like, again, not to be callous, but these nobodies, what it's doing is planting the seed in the rich guy's mind that, well, I'm going to hedge my bets because the rich guy can afford it. And indeed, that's what happens. And so I think that was really smart. And I think if it would have been a tough case for anybody other than Sherlock Holmes to solve.
I definitely agree. What do you think about that, Dalton?
I agree with that. And I'll piggyback on that with my second high by saying that there were a couple of very well thrown red herrings there. There was a psychic there of sorts who was being framed because she's trying to, make her living with, her charms or baubles or whatever. And that could have been a very good, that was a very good diversion or red herring that the killer threw. And so that was good. The kid himself was kind of a red herring too. And I mean, and Holmes got there and immediately it was like, no, it's definitely not.
Yeah. He's like the chalk, man. He's just a tool.
Right. Just a tool. I like that analogy. I was like, ooh, that's good. Very good. Jared, what do you think?
Oh man, I've never been asked that on this show.
I know.
There's a reason.
Woo! I don't know what to do. Let's start with episode 1. In episode 1, I don't have a ton more to add. I think you guys have picked up all my highs. Love the mystery. Love the mystery being the motive. Love the way the story was laid out to where it really just drags us along. And you're kind of scratching your head the whole time and you're kind of kicking yourself like, why can't I figure this out? And who would go to these lengths, the kid and why is it so needlessly complex? And then when it's revealed to you, you're like, oh, that's pretty brilliant. So yeah, like I said, you guys have already kind of mentioned those things, but I'm a little jazzed about this episode. Look for some pipe ratings, but I believe it's Delvin's turn to drop a high or a low.
Well, I just dropped one, but let's see if I have any more. No, I'm actually tapped out. I did enjoy the episode overall.
I've got a low if I can throw it out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. When Watson is struggling for his life with the guy with the gun, Holmes is just sitting there smiling like an idiot. You need to get in there and help the boy, Holmes.
I know, right?
I mean, this is where you're really missing Lestrade and Wilkins, man. Lestrade and Wilkins wouldn't let him be struggling by himself. Plus, he knew that gun was still loaded, and he's just sitting there smiling like an idiot.
Yeah.
I got people for this. I'm good. We got this.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna go agree with Jason on that. Come on, Holmes, man. Guys bailed
Get
you
your
out.
hands dirty.
You guys bailed you out how many times? You're just going to sit there and chill and watch him struggle?
Have we seen Holmes throw hands once this series?
I don't think so. I think it's always Watson.
I
mean, come on.
Maybe
you got to get you a friend who will throw hands for you, who will run down a cart that's going at least 32 miles per hour across the parking lot.
Jared, that was me.
That was you. And whilst we've been blessed that you've never once had to throw hands on my behalf.
I stood there smiling like an idiot.
Yes, you did the Holmes thing. I had no idea that thing was even gone until it was like 80% of the way gone. Anyway, we digress.
Yeah, I guess I was just looking for it. Worst case scenario.
I'm glad you were there.
Well, yeah, I do think that Holmes or really anyone else in the room could have helped Watson there in that situation, but I mean, Watson took care of it.
And he was on top of his Watson game. He was all like, Holmes was like, I took the liberty of removing the bullets from your gun. And obviously, sometime between then and that moment, that dude had reloaded his gun.
Somebody took the bullets out of my gun.
And then Watson was like, here's the bullets. And then Holmes gave him that, oh, well, wah, kind of look. My bad.
Holmes. Yeah.
Almost got me killed. Freaking Holmes. Well, with that, let's check the chat. Did anybody have any highs or lows in the chat?
Anybody follow along with it? Anybody watch it?
No one was able to check it out, even though I have convinced Noah the Hyper Potato that Sergeant Rock made an appearance in this episode.
Yeah, it was pretty weird.
Yes. And he says that the haunted tank is in this one. Why didn't anyone tell me? I said, we just figured you'd listen.
Although Ross Michaud did say throwing hands is what an NCO is for. Where the hell was Wilkins?
Oh. Good question. I would love to have seen Wilkins, because Wilkins would have even moved. Then Lestrade would have been like, Wilkins, go get it. And he would have said, on the way, sir. And then he would have would have been
well, Wilkins would have been out of his jurisdiction as they were in another country.
Yep.
But miniature spoiler alert, I know for a fact there's one coming up where Holmes and Watson and Lestrade go to France together. Ooh. And it's a sight to behold. So let's look forward to.
I like their dynamic. I mean, it led to a great episode last episode. So anytime that they work in Lestrade and Wilkins to the fray, it makes it more interesting to me.
I concur.
I do too, yeah.
So thank you. Fists have no jurisdiction, says GLHG.
Word.
Oh, my goodness.
There's something to that, yes.
So if you're listening to this podcast episode and you're wondering what's that all about, you're listening to the recording that we did on the live stream. So we've got a little bit of live stream input from our YouTube watchers, and we invite you to watch us on YouTube on our next live stream, and we'll talk more about that at the end of the show. And with that, let's get into some fun facts with Jared. So we had Jacques Francois. He plays Dr. Dimanche. He just made his first of 2 appearances on the show. Now, this apparently was still fairly early in Jacques' career that started in the 1940s, and he worked all the way until 2004.
Dang.
With, I think it was over 170 film and television credits to his name.
Dang.
And mostly French film. But strangely enough, the most famous film that he was ever in was Day of the Jackal. And I know you guys have been on the program long enough to say that sounds familiar. Because
that sounds familiar.
Yes, that has come up with at least 3 actors. Let me try that again. That has come up with at least 3 other actors on this show. So I don't know what it was about the 1954 Sherlock Holmes, but apparently the Day of the Jackal casting director was just like, hey, anybody who was on that show can be in this movie.
And you.
I don't. And like Day of the Jackal came out in the 70s. So it's like 20 years on from this show, but yet there's a lot of people from this show that show up in that movie. It's really weird.
But you know how it goes. A lot of times you get your directors, and whatever reason they have their pet projects that they loved, or something that they just modeled their career after. And so they're like, hey, when are any of these actors available? That's very possible that was it.
You may be onto something, but we might need to put an official segment on the show called Jackal Watch. Just how many actors on this episode were a Day of the Jackal? But yeah, you may be right. Maybe there was a producer in common or something like that. Anyway, that's the fun facts for today.
So I'll add a small fun fact, and it's really just more of a translation. My very rudimentary French can tell you that dimanche is French for Sunday.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Dr. Sunday.
Dr. Sunday. Huh. That sounds delicious. So, you guys know what time it is? It's time to do some pipe ratings.
Pass the duchy to the left-hand side.
This is weird. I can pull out the pipes and not have to worry about seeing Pat tweak.
Yeah, I know. We've got cups of brandy here, and so.
But yeah, I took a sip, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I set it down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it's still there.
I can only assume that all the pipes are right there.
Hold on, ladies. It's pipe time. I'll be right back.
Son of a.
Did I hear pipes are being passed around, lads?
No.
No
pipes. No pipes here, Sean.
No pipes for the Sean? Man, this is some BS right here.
Sorry, Sean.
I guess I'll just have to console myself with the two lovely ladies I have back in my room.
I'm pretty
Good
sure one of those is a dude.
Hey, man, don't knock it till you try it, okay, lad?
Oh, Sean. Oh, I'm certain that there's nothing wrong with the pipes over there in the pipe chest there. I'm sure they're all there, and Pat probably didn't steal them or anything. So why don't you go ahead and get those out?
Son of a... he left us those little bubble pipes, the ones that for the little kids. Very funny, Samson.
Oh, jeez. All right, well, bubble pipes it is.
All right.
Hang it. Pat's probably, I don't even want to think about it. He's probably been red carded and thrown out of the game already.
Yeah. We just got to hope he's not smoking raw opium in front of those kids.
That is the key.
I mean, I've heard him say a time or two, start them young. That's what I always say. I didn't know what he meant. I thought he was just randomly saying words.
Oh, Pat. All right. So we each have 5 bubble pipes. We each have 5 bubble pipes in front of us. You can give up to 5 pipes to the show. 5 means you loved this episode, and 4 means you thought it was very good, and 3 is just good, and 2 is just okay, and 1, I did not like it. We will start with Delvin.
I'm going to give it 4. I thought it was a very good episode. I can't give it a 5 because absolute truth in advertising. I did watch the show, of course. I remembered it ended. I remember who did it. I forgot why. So if it didn't strike me enough to remember why it happened, then I can't give it the full 5, but I did think it was very good. Let's pass it along to Jason.
See, I thought the why was brilliant. That's what really stuck with me. I'm still going to give it a 4 just because I was really missing some Lestrade and Wilkins in this one. And Holmes, you got to get in and throw hands when your boys fighting with a man with a handgun.
Yeah, I tell you what, if musical genius Joe November was here, give it a 4.5. You know what? I'm going to go in. I'm giving it the 5. I really like the mystery. It was very classic mystery all the way down to the I bet you're wondering why I called you all here scene. And it gave me a warm, fuzzy feeling of this is just classic mystery. And, if they did this again and again, I could see my score drop, but we hadn't had one of these in a while, so I was happy to see it. Thusly, the 5.
I can respect that.
So that's where we're falling out today. Pat, are you on there? Ivan the Collector says it's a 3 pipes for him. And Pat has yet to weigh in.
Ivor also says it's not bad, but the last one is his benchmark now. And the last one was very good.
Yeah, it was.
Remind me what the last one was, boy. What was the last one?
The Reluctant Carpenter, right?
Oh, right. The matching suitcases and all that.
Yes. And the staring.
Lots of staring and lots of renting the apartment across the street.
Oh, looks like Pat's son's team won. The Phoenix Rose.
Oh, yeah.
Go Phoenix. Go Phoenix. This is going to be fun for you to clean, Jason. You're going to be like, when do we get back to the show?
Never.
Correct. Always the right answer. Well, let me get all that out before we start our official recording again. All right. Well, with that, let's get into the 221B mailbag. Who's got the mailbag? I think it's over by Delvin. Delvin, please hand me the mailbag, sir.
Here you go, sir. Here you go.
Thank you. And let's see. Now, before I open this mailbag, we are, of course, thrilled to kick off these comments with special shout-outs to our Crusaders Club members. These are the fine folks who have joined our crusade. They enjoy discounts from my online store, which is theyardsaleartist.bigcartel.com. Early access to special Longbox episodes. Man, we put up polls to help people. We put up polls to let people decide what content goes into some of our shows. Man, we take care of our patrons. So we invite you to be one. But these are the folks that are reaping the benefits currently. And I wouldn't mind doing a rotation here. So if you want to go me, Delvin, Jason.
Let's go.
All right. Dave Collins.
Blast it or stash it.
Gene, the podcasting machine Hendricks.
Ivan the Collector, live and in person.
Ivor Evans, also live.
Joe Thomas, JT.
John and Maggie from Married with Comics podcast. John knows what he did.
Mm-hmm. Wait, how did I get in on that? Who knows? Maxwell Traver.
Miranda W. We're heading your way in June, Miranda.
That's kind of sounding like a warning more than anything.
It was meant to be.
Mr.
It's
Lobotomy. That's what it was.
Ross Michaud, also live, also Daredevil, also
maybe King.
Yeah.
Ronald Went.
Also live, if he's still here. Not sure. I know he dipped in. Samantha Maney, whose Patreon looks almost exactly like Miranda W's.
That's crazy. It's like identical.
Jokes for Delvin.
Okay. Yes. Tim Price, even though it doesn't say Tim Price, it says Tim. Or
Bob Buster.
Steve Cronin, the Barbarian.
And last but certainly not least, the Toronto Cop.
Love
Step out
it.
of the car, eh?
Under arrest, Holzer.
Just in case Jason didn't get it, Miranda W. and Samantha Maney are literal twins. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes, Miranda's a twin sister. Her
Really?
her sister is Samantha.
Identical. Anyway. All right, back to the show. If we missed anyone on our list, we apologize. Please keep in mind that we record these episodes well in advance of release. So if you're a recent addition, we should be adding you soon, but still, no problem. Just let us know we missed you by sending an email to contact@longboxcrusade.com. We'll straighten it out. So you might be asking yourself, how do I become a Crusaders Club member?
I'm not even going to ask because you're just going to say no.
Fine, I'll ask. Jared, how do
Yes.
I become a Crusaders Club member?
Well, it's simple. You just head over to patreon.com and search for Longbox Crusade. For as little as $1 a month, you'll get access to the amazing world of Crusaders Club. Come check it out. You know what? If you don't have any scratch laying around, you're like, man, I love these guys, but I can't afford that $1 a month. We understand that, man. Life can be hard out there. You can still help us out. just head on over to iTunes and give a rating to the podcast. You know what? Maybe give a 5-star rating to the podcast if you'd be so kind. You can use just star ratings, but we would love to hear from you. If you give us a write-up, we will definitely read you right up on the show. You can do it for the Longbox Crusade overall umbrella, or you can leave one directly for Saturday Matinee Theater. Both of those options are available to you, and we greatly appreciate it. Well, let's open that mailbag. And we're going to talk about some shares and some likes and some retweets. And we're going to be talking about Longbox Crusade Presents Saturday Matinee Theater episode 24, which was the last Holmes one we did. Actually, that was 2 Holmes ones ago, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yes, this is the case of the carriage suffragette. Or I might be wrong. That might just not have been updated in the script.
Maybe it's 26.
Yeah, let's try it again. Take 2. Jason's going to love it when he finds that. Ah, damn it. All right, so this is your feedback from episode 26, which was the case of the something carpenter. What was it? Something carpenter.
What?
Episode 26. The last one we did was not the careless suffragette. It was the carpenter one.
Oh, well, that's what this is from?
I think so. Pat, are you there? You know what?
Pat, help us, Pat.
Let's do this the easy way. Here we go. All right, so we're gonna do some feedback from our last Holmes episode, and let's see what we've got. I wonder if there's any clues in the comments.
Was it?
It is the carpenter one because the comments are talking about the bomb bag.
Okay, the case of the reluctant carpenter.
Take 7. All right, so let's get to our likes, shares, and retweets. We're going to be talking about, I believe it was episode 26, where we did the case of the
reluctant
carpenter.
Reluctant carpenter. Couldn't remember the adjective. The case of the reluctant carpenter. Have fun cleaning that, Jason.
All right.
And as I open these up to look at these likes, shares, and retweets, the first thing in the mailbag I see is a note that says, "Bet you're wondering where the pipes are. Suck it, Pat."
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Thanks, Pat.
That's usually that's not very nice.
Yeah. Why we put up with him. But anyway, let's get to these shares, likes, and retweets.
All right. We will start off with Aaron Head Moss.
And I left my wallet with Al Sedano.
Gotta get it. I got to get it. Oh my goodness, one of my favorite 2 professors. It's Alan Middleton.
Next up, Austin Kuykendall.
And I forget, is it Bill Burr?
Beer.
Beer, like you drink.
Okay. Bill Beer.
Oh, I'm the lucky one. Chris at BTO and Bat Books. Gentlemen, let it roll. Down the highway.
Roll.
Show.
It's a show now. Next up is Christy McNully.
And here's to you, Clinton Robinson.
And Coffee and Comics blog.
Better write this down. It's Comics Memoir.
And then we'll staple it with Colin Stapleton.
I got Dave Collins. I apologize for not inviting you on this episode, Dave. I forgot.
Next up is My Lovely Mother, Deborah Smith.
And then we have Gene Hendricks.
Jerry Green.
The live and in-person Green Lantern, HG.
And I believe he might still be live here with us, Ivan Chudley. Sounds like. There he is.
That's correct. And I'll do the one that got skipped, which is Hal Jordan.
And I will go on to Jonathan Schaefer Hames.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get Kevin Dale Duncan.
ADD's nuts. Sorry.
That's a satisfying laugh.
I've got my buddy live and in person. It is Kirk Spencer. Hopes you will draw Sergeant Rock. And I apologize, Kirk, because it's going to be a Darth Vader when I'm done.
Next up is Married with Comics with John and Maggie, who also does The Rod Pod.
Oh.
Then we have Professor Frenzy. It's a show.
That's a show. Next up, Space, The Final Frontier. I'm just kidding. It's not Trekker Talk. But we do have Rad Adventures. It's Ruth and Darren. Thank you, fellas.
Next up is Rick Heineken.
We have Robert Charles.
Live in a person, it's Ross Michaud, Daredevil Kingpin.
Next up is Ruth Sutherland, Agent of Spectre.
We have Secret Wars and Beyond podcast.
Tim Price, come on down. You are the next contestant on Saturday Matinee Theater. $1.
That's a good bet to make. That's all I'm saying, man.
That's what I heard.
Next up is Warlord Worlds.
Then we have Victoria Lorick.
That sounds Vulcan.
It does. Live long and prosper, Victoria.
And finally, we have Xenozoic Xenophiles. Thank you, everyone who sent in with the likes, the shares, and the retweets. We greatly appreciate it. And let's talk comments now. Comments. The first one out of the bag goes to my buddy Delvin, I do believe.
You know what? We've read these comments.
Yep. These are the suffragette comments. Somebody didn't do this.
Pat Sampson. I was assured by Pat Sampson that these would be updated on Saturday.
Well.
Let's make up comments.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
All right.
You get to make up the first one.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Let me think for a second. Okay. Our first comment looks like we have a write-in from the founder of the show himself, Pat Sampson. And Pat says, man, you guys are doing an excellent job without me. I should usually, I was worried about taking a break here, but I think I'm going to be taking more breaks in the future. Like, that's weird for you to write about last episode, Pat, but I mean, but
timing seems weird.
Boy,
right?
My space-time continuum is just freaking me out, man.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Left is up, right is cats. What is going on?
Jason, what comment do you pull out of the bag today?
It looks like we have a new listener here. This is from Sac D. I don't know who that could be, but it said, WTF are you doing to my character? Pat, get off your ass. Sac D. I don't know who that could be.
Sac D. Sir Arthur. Something.
Conan Doyle. Oh, my God.
Oh my.
Comments from the grave.
Yeah. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle says to get off your ass, Pat.
Well, everybody else gave made up comments about Pat, and I'm just going to take the high road and go with an actual comment here that says, it's from Jonathan Schaefer Hames. It says, I'm very, very sorry. I know what I did, and I won't let it happen again. Apology accepted, Jonathan Schaefer Hames, while we're making up fake comments. All right, well, that was fun.
Sac D says, P.S. Congratulations on your son's win.
He's also in a time machine.
Yeah, space-time continuum.
Why would we write that last episode? Weird.
Damn you, Samson. He stole our pipes, and he didn't update our comments. Oh, the show must go on. Actually, you know what? What was that, Delvin?
I said hell in a handbasket.
Hell in a handbasket. Oh, Lord. And good thing we didn't do it live in front of people on YouTube.
Yeah, boy. This could be really embarrassing.
It would be really embarrassing if there was witnesses. Oh, Jason, save us and close out this show.
We're just going to insert toilet flushing sound here. So, that's it for this episode of Saturday Matinee Theater. If you'd like to hear more from us in the realm of comic books, check out the Longbox Crusade. Pat, where can they find that? Well, thanks, Jason.
Hold on. I got it. Hold on.
Okay.
Well, Jason, I'm glad you asked. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play, and most podcatchers at www.longboxcrusade.com. You can find us on Twitter at Longbox Crusade, Facebook at Longbox Crusade, and Instagram at Longbox Crusade. If you want to hear us on a trek through all, that's Jason. Oh, sorry.
I like how you added the peppiness, though.
Yeah, you had the peppiness down, but you gotta go back to
I'm trying to be Peppy Pat there. I should keep going?
No. He always ends with back to you.
Oh, back to you, Jason.
Thanks, Pat. And if you want to hear us on our trek through all the James Bond films, check out On Her Majesty's Secret podcast. Jared, where can they find that?
That's an easy find. All you got to do is go. Hang on, someone's at the door. Oh, it's Christopher Walken. What's up, boys?
Hey,
I was having a good day.
Wait your goddamn turn, Walken. I still have 45 minutes on the clock.
Oh, it's you. I had two ladies and they disappeared.
I hadn't booked it this time. I paid good money for this action.
You know, guys, go work that out. You guys work that out. I'll take it from here. The On Her Majesty's Secret podcast can be found on iTunes, Google Play, most podcatchers.
Wait, I have a question. Are they putting on a Chubbins and Sweetums routine in the room? Can
that could be.
The door?
Can we mic that up? I don't know if we want to hear what goes on in there.
Yeah, we may want to give this a couple minutes.
You know what just occurred to me? As I saw Walken go into the room with Connery, 99% sure one of those girls is Mary Jane.
Then I'm about 100% sure that they better be taking some antibiotics.
Anyway, back to the whole James Bond thing. You could go to www.secretpodcast.podbean.com. You can go to OHMS Pod on Twitter. Basically, just come check us out. We got cool Bond stuff happening. Back to you, Jason.
Oh, and boys, here your pipes back. I had them this whole time. We're running a party back there. Me and Pat split him up before he took off. It's a good lad, that Doritos. I really like that kid.
It's like 9 gallons of bourbon in here.
We're so gonna get evicted. Anyway, thank you, Jared. If you'd like to chat with us online, we can be found at Delvin. Kick us off.
You can find me at DEE_RAY1977. That would be on the Twitter machine. Jason.
You can find me at Weasel Skull on Twitter or at Jason Albrick on Facebook and Instagram. Jared.
You can find me at Yard Sale Artist. That's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It's all at Yard Sale Artist. Or you can check out my alternate personality, which is at Christados01.
And if you want to interact with us with live chat, and after today, I don't know why, and be entered to win some free stuff on our live raffles.
That's why. That's why.
There you go. You can come back for live raffles.
Free stuff, yeah.
Free stuff's always good. Join us for our next episode of Doin It Livestream. Doing It live stream over on YouTube. We do them on the second Sunday of every month, and we always start at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. You can get signed up for that by looking up Longbox Crusade on YouTube. Please subscribe to our channel and click the bell so you'll get reminder notifications for when we go live.
Quick break. If you're on our YouTube channel right now, we greatly appreciate you being here. We will most likely not be on second Sunday next month because it is Mother's Day. So we will probably rotate back onto the second Sunday in June. We put this one kind of between the last one that we missed and Mother's Day. It's kind of our catch-up episode, but look for us in June.
Everybody say Happy Mother's Day to their mothers. You literally wouldn't be here without them.
There you go.
Mother, there is no other. Yep.
Let me tell you something I did with y'all mothers.
No, just stop.
I ruined the moment again, didn't I?
Oh, yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did. Yes, you kind of did.
Don't like
Ciao.
Oh, God.
Close out the show.
Here's my hairy Scotty dog ass. Mary Jane getting lonely back here.
Oh,
thanks for joining us for this episode of Saturday Matinee Theater. Get your ray gun charged and get ready to throw hands. Whack, 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 whack. Next episode will continue our journey through the 1936 Flash Gordon serial Space Soldiers.
Space Soldiers.
Space. Pew, 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 pew. We will see you next episode for episode 5. The meetup location, Planet Mongo. Sweet Caroline. Good times never seem so good.
Where's Pat? Where's Pat? We made it. We're out.
We made it.
Leave Samson alone.
For all those on the live stream, somehow we will make that to a quasi-professional podcast.
Yeah, that's going to actually sound like something. We promise.
Yeah, we actually make it sound like something. Just like something. Well, so we are all wrapped in that. What, took an hour and 20? And that's with chit chat at the beginning. Not bad, not bad.
Not bad.
I mean, what? No.
Green Lantern HG's already getting worked up about Aura, Ming's daughter.
Yeah, people dig her. People dig her more than
Dale.
Dang, that's bad that I forgot Dale.
Can't remember her name.
There you go. Case in point.
Look, I mean, you got to give it up to Aura because she is thirsty and she knows it.
Listen, there's one thing that Delvin and I, all the way back to college, always liked in a woman, found attractive, and that was if they had what we called an agenda. You knew what you were doing, you knew what you wanted, and Aura has an agenda.
Her agenda is flash, 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 and flash,
and a dash of flash.
Yes. Like I will burn this whole city down. I just want to see them flash.
Oh, well, thank you so much for everybody who tuned in. Who's got a random number generator?
I do.
Okay, and I will pull up a patron list and we'll make some magic happen.
I tested that random number generator to see if it worked. Should I go with that number or should I redo it?
Whatever is in your heart. Whatever is in your heart.
Okay.
We use that same, just FYI, we use that same random number generator on Action Film Face Off. We just set it from 1970 to 2018. It doesn't make that. You got to put that sound in yourself. All right. I guess we will start with, okay. While we're doing the one for the Crusaders Club members, which will be the big book, the big hardcover Sherlock Holmes Classic Illustrated. This thing is super cool. You will be proud to own that. I guarantee it if you are a Holmes fan. While we're doing that, people in the chat, sound off. Say, hey, I want to be in for the video game. Just type 360. You just put 360 in the chat. We'll know that you want to be in on that. So get 360 rolling in the chat if you want to win the video game. And we'll go ahead and do the book for the Crusaders Club members. 1 through 17. Randomizer. Jason, you can make the sound effect.
We have the number 4.
4 would make it Ivan the Collector.
Whoop, whoop.
This dude wins a lot. We're going to take his name off the list. Ivan, you guess, Ivan, no, it's not the game. Never mind. I was worried because I know that Ivan's in Europe, and I don't think the 360 works on the European machines, but he won the book, so that works in Europe.
Books work everywhere.
Books work in Europe. Congratulations, Ivan. That's all you. We certainly appreciate your Patreonness, my friend Ivan. You are a big-time supporter, and we recognize that, and we do thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Ivan with the win. I know, right? Hyper Potato's like, I haven't collected another win. Oh, goodness. All right. So that brings us to the 360 game. And right now it looks like we only got a couple in for the 360 game, which would be, looks like Kirk and Green Lantern HG. And Delvin typed 360, so I guess he's in on it.
No. I was just telling them that type 360.
We will give that just a couple minutes. I don't want to leave anybody out. So we'll just real quick. Anybody else who wants 360, go ahead and put that in the chat if you want to be possibly to win the game here. And while we wait on that, a quick topic of discussion from my friends here. What's the last comic book you read, Jason?
Oh gosh, the last one I just read it yesterday was issue 8, I believe it is, for Avengers No Road Home.
Okay, so that's like a modern thing, a contemporary comic.
Yep.
Gotcha.
If you're asking for the last retro comic I
read,
no. Okay.
But go ahead. Well, you're about to say it. What was the last retro book you read?
I'm reading through the Captain America series on my Marvel Unlimited app nice. Because I have the codes now.
Got the codes.
Yep. And I'm just starting into the Steranko era. So I'm thinking I'm on 112 right now. Captain America 112.
Oh, wow.
As you are retroing it up.
I might have to give this Marvel Unlimited a try. Like they sent me something said it was for half off. And the very first thing I thought is I need to get that for my niece and nephew and I need to get it for myself.
I recommend it.
I highly recommend it.
I mean, I don't know what their pricing is these days. When I got in, is $60 a year. So I mean, $5 a month for all that access. Why not? Especially with the podcast that we do, and people are always like, "Hey, can you read this?" And, it's nice to have it handy.
It is.
And it's like when you're traveling too. As long as you got your phone, you can read and keep up with what we're going to be doing on Crusader Chronicles.
Side note too, if you're doing it on your phone, you can do panel view. Yep. And that makes it even easier to read because you just go panel by panel on the phone.
We have a couple of comments there. Noah, the Hyper Potato, says last issue that he read was Punchline number 3 from Antarctic Press. He enjoyed it. Green Lantern says he read Dark Arc number 11. Still needs the last issues. And talking about 360, Ron wants us to know that he went 369 on your mother, Trebek.
After all those classy things I said about Ron at the front of the show, came in and torpedoed. All right. Speaking of 360, make sure if you want to win the Sherlock Holmes 360 Xbox 360 game we're about to give away, type that in the chat. Well, Delvin tells us what the last comic book he read was.
Pat typed 360, but I don't think now.
I don't think he's gonna win.
I was struggling, man. I'm trying to count ones I didn't podcast about. Because that takes up a decent amount of time. And I think that one would be Amazing Spider-Man. They are right now doing a storyline featuring Kraven, where he has captured anyone that has anything to do with the animal totem. And his whole hunt idea now is to get all the hyper rich people in the world to pay money to hunt these guys. So he got Arcade to put a force field around Central Park, and he has everyone hunting all of these bad guys, anybody with animal names in it. So what in addition to this, they've done like features on spotlighting either a villain or a superhero with the animal totem, and one of them was the Gibbon, I believe.
I know the Gibbon, yeah.
And man, that was just a sad issue. It was depressing. Like it was good, but it's like, oh man, it started on a low note and it just went lower. Like, woof. Like Nick Spencer made you feel bad for the Gibbon. Like he was a dude that like he was bad, but he wanted to try and do good, and everyone just treated him like a joke. And it was rough.
Follow-up question.
Yes.
I seem to remember reading a very poignant series called Kraven's Last Hunt.
Yes.
Is he back again? The real Kraven, or is there a new guy?
Oh, it's the real Kraven. The real Kraven, he's been. Well, no, actually, for a while they had his son, right?
I know his daughter did it for a while.
His son has done it. The daughter has done it. But at some point, and they explained it, I just can't remember, they resurrected Kraven. And the funny thing is Kraven did not want to be resurrected. He was like, I just want to die.
I mean, he made that pretty evident in the original miniseries. He was done.
Yeah. And so he did like there is a so what he did was he went to I think the High Evolutionary and he cloned like 30 of basically himself so he can have like he killed his family who resurrected him, brought like and cloned himself like 30 times or something like that to raise his own family of him, and then sent them out into the world to do their divide and conquer thing. And what happened was one of the like the most alpha one basically killed all the other ones.
Oh.
So it's just him left now. It's him and Craven left. It's been an interesting storyline.
On the one hand, I'm very like, I don't know if I like that because it was such a powerful story back in the day that, don't bring him back. But it's an interesting angle. I'll give him that. It's an interesting angle.
So, yeah, that was the last one that I read.
All right.
I got a stack of comics sitting there waiting. It's one of those times where I almost wish that I had less things to do so that I could just sit there and read my huge stack of comic books and all the stuff on the table and everything. But I'll get to it someday, I suppose.
Heard that. So anybody else in on 360? It still looks like it's what? Just Kirk and GLHG and not Pap Sampson?
Let's see. Anyone else? Anyone else want in on this?
I will tell you, I have been reading. Quick backstory. I went to a store called Ollie's. If you got an Ollie's in your area, go check it out. They buy out.
Good.
What's that?
I was pulling Ollie from Family Guy.
Oh. I get it now. Ollie's buys up a lot of trade paperbacks and stuff from I guess Diamond or distributors or something, and they sell them for cheap. And I got a showcase for $3 of Challengers of the Unknown from DC.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you what, they must be seriously good at what they do because they were unknown to me. I'd never even heard of that book. Maybe I'm the last guy on the planet to know.
Man, I have heard of Challengers of the Unknown, but I'll be danged if I have ever collected a book about them.
Well, apparently this trade goes all the way back. It's volume 1, so it's from the get-go. And I didn't know this was very much a Kirby project. Kirby's art, Kirby's writing it. It's a lot of Kirby involved. And I've only read the first issue now in the showcase, but I am hungry for more. It is very impressive. And a lot of old-timey comics kind of feel like reading history to me sometimes. This one is very interesting. Kirby's all over the map with this. And Challenges the Unknown. Didn't even know about it, but now I'm digging it.
Very cool.
So now you're all caught up on what your Longbox Crusade crew has been reading in our spare time when we're not podcasting.
You may have just answered this, but Kirk just asked which version of the Challengers. Kirby, Sale?
Kirby. It's got to be Kirby. Yeah, it's Kirby.
Yeah, Jack Kirby has that funky style.
Yeah, I had no idea that this was a Kirby baby from back in the day. Again, I didn't even really heard of it. I said $3 for a showcase. Why would I not? It's cheaper than a single issue of a comic right now. So I picked it up and I randomly selected off my reading shelf after I finished the War That Time Forgot showcase. And
did you use the randomizer?
I kind of did. I kind of honestly did. When I did, Johanna was in the next room in the kitchen, and I started running my finger back and forth on the spines of the books. And I said, Johanna, tell me when to stop. And she said, stop. And I was on Challenges of the Unknown.
Well, there you go. All right.
Well, it looks like it's down. We got an action film face-off of Green Lantern HG versus Noah the Hyper Potato here.
I was gonna say, I got a coin here. We could do heads or tails, but it's a Kuwaiti coin, and I don't know which is heads and which is tails.
You want me to do that randomizer?
Randomizer, number 1 or number 2. Number 1 will be Noah the Hyper Potato, and number 2 is going to be GLHG, who also loves Craven's Last Hunt.
Test your might. Mortal Kombat. I chose number 1.
Noah the Hyper Potato. I'm sorry, GLHG. Hang in there. We'll get you next time. All right, Kirk, you win again. I imagine I'll put it in my giant stack of things I have for Kirk and we will make that happen.
So, Green Lantern HG asked, question for you all. What is your most valuable comic in your collection? And I answered already, like, I honestly have no idea. Like, I've been asked that question a lot. And I have my comics inventoried, and I have literally no clue what single issue is the most valuable. I doubt that I have any super valuable comic. I don't think I do.
Well, I have been actually selling off my physical comic book collection. So I don't have much left. I know you're like, what? You podcast about it? Yeah, I'm pretty digital and trade these days. But I'll tell you what comic book I did have that was the most valuable, but I did sell it. I had a very nice, graded out at like a 7.5, 7.6 copy of Incredible Hulk 181, first full appearance of Wolverine. I got it for $4. I bought off a guy for $4. That's a story in and of itself. My awesome brother Jason here took it with him to a con and got it autographed by writer Lynn Wein, which was validated by the people who slab it, and they slabbed it, and I had it on display in my house for a long time. And when I decided to sell off my comics, that's where I started. I said, if I can sell this one, I can sell any of them. So I did sell my 181, and well, after I paid $4 for it, I made quite the hefty ransom on that comic book. But at one time, I was the proud owner of the first appearance of Wolverine, and I'll turn it over to Jason.
I still have mine today. I'd say it's X-Men Uncanny Type back when it was Stan Lee writing it. I think it's number 6. It's the one with Submariner on the cover.
Nice.
And I had Stan Lee sign it and had it authenticated and graded and had it slabbed, and it got graded at 7. I think.
Wow, that's not bad for a comic that old, dude.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, so that's probably monetarily the most valuable one.
Where'd you get it?
I got it off of eBay. There was somebody that was selling a set, so I got a bunch of early X-Men stuff. I didn't pay. I paid more than $4 for it. I can tell you that. I don't remember exactly what I paid. It wasn't too terribly much. I think probably I paid probably about $15 a piece for them. So I think that one's worth a little bit more than $15 now.
I would imagine.
Yeah, so I think that's probably monetarily the most valuable one that I have. Other than that, it's probably the one that kind of is my favorite. I don't know monetarily what it's worth. It would be the one that I found it when you and I were diving over in what was that place called?
Book Nook.
Book Nook there in Atlanta. Yeah, I think that was. I found Heroes for Hope, which itself isn't worth too much because they made tons of them. I found it in a quarter bin, but this one I took it home and I realized it was signed by Chris Claremont, Archie Goodwin, Stan Lee, and Jim Shooter. So I was like, wow, that's worth a quarter.
Definitely. And the only thing I can add to that is shout out to Courtney's in the house.
Courtney.
Crap. I know I was gonna say. Again, it's always a time issue, because I know it will be a time commitment. Like, out of all the comic books I have, I would seriously consider selling them to get a complete run of a book, like, say, my favorite, Amazing Spider-Man.
Yep.
Because, it's probably 800 plus issues now in continuity. I've been collecting it now for 20.
How old am I?
27 years now, since the 340s. And of course, when I was doing actively collecting, I started picking up back issues. So I'm probably somewhere roughly about 200 on up, maybe. And I would love to have a full run of Amazing Spider-Man. I would sacrifice 3,000-4,000 comics that I would probably never look at to say that I had a full run of Amazing Spider-Man. The question is, where am I going to find time to just sit down and say, look, either eBay these things. I've seen people have Instagram accounts on and look, here's some comic books, y'all. You want to buy them? I would definitely consider doing it. So,
what are you going to do without your full run of Dark Hawk?
That's right.
Sleep comfortably.
Thunderstrike? You can turn your back on Thunderstrike?
No, I wouldn't turn my back on Thunderstrike if for no other reason that I found a people who had a love for Thunderstrike on the Twitterverse, and if I did it, I think that somehow it would leak, and I would get like tweets. How dare you?
Delvin basically started a nice little Thunderstrike community based off of our Crusaders episode where he brought it. Thunderstrike fans came out of the dang woodwork.
I know, man. They were like repelling from my ceiling and everything else. Like, you better give Thunderstrike.
There was a fandom just waiting for a champion, and Delvin was like, "This is Sparta."
I had no idea there were that many Thunderstrike fans out there.
I know.
I thought that was cool. I mean, for what it's worth, you guys are very receptive to it, even though for 2 years running, Pat has had the most popular book, and this year it was Usagi Yojimbo. But I was pleased that you guys liked Thunderstrike, and I was pleased upon rereading it. I've been thinking recently, it's like, what the heck am I gonna, what am I gonna pull out for this Crusade miss? And I'm not sure yet. I wanted to do something good. I don't know if it's even fair if I do something like a Spawn 1, because I thought about it, but I'm like, we talk about overlooked, and Spawn 1 was.
Not overlooked.
Definitely not overlooked.
Overhyped, maybe, but not overlooked.
Maybe Spawn 2 or something like that. Who knows?
There were some really good. I remember there being some really good spin-off books. Like I really enjoyed Curse of the Spawn and Sam and Twitch. That was some early Bendis right there. So there's definitely some stuff to be mined there. I'm currently debating whether or not I'm going to do an old Savage She-Hulk for Crusade Miss this year. Or perhaps, what's that?
A John Byrne one?
No, original run. It would have been Sal Buscema was drawing it.
Like his art.
There's some good stuff in there, and that's kind of old retro and kind of overlooked. Or I'm thinking maybe go a little bit modern. A few years ago, I mentioned to you guys, since we do the James Bond podcast, that Felix Leiter book was pretty good. So that's kind of my inner debate. Felix Leiter or She-Hulk. Feel free to sound off on that in the chat if you got feelings on that. Jason, you eyeballing anything for Crusaders?
You all make fun of it no matter what I bring. So
True.
I was thinking maybe some.
Jason's like, I brought Watchmen. We're like, crap. It's crap.
Garth Ennis is Just a Pilgrim. Maybe I thought might be a fun.
I don't know anything about it.
It's kind of set in post-apocalyptic times, and he's like the main character's kind of like this religious Puritan that has to safeguard this colony across the wasteland.
That sounds interesting.
It's
kind of Book of Eli-ish, a little bit.
Kind of, yeah. If you like Book
of Eli, Preacher or Pilgrim?
Just a Pilgrim.
Okay. I know Preacher, of course. I feel like I should know Pilgrim.
It was one that way back when Wizard was starting that, what was it called? They had their own comic line.
Black Bull or Black Gate?
Something, yeah. I think Black Bull was right.
Or something like that.
Something like that.
Didn't last
Mark
long.
Waid was right. They had some good stuff, though. Mark Waid was writing Gatecrasher.
That's where I got the word gate from.
And Garth Ennis was writing Pilgrim, and they had some good stuff.
Black Bull says Kirk, and he's never wrong about this stuff.
He also wanted me to choose Atari Force, which I was like, I can't because I don't have any Atari Force.
I've got a full run, and he's not the only person that raves about it. And I even went so far as to get it hardcover bound. That was my one leap of faith on my hardcover bounding, having not read it. But Kirk also was adamant to me about Nth Man, and y'all know how I feel about Nth Man. So I went on a limb. Yeah. Went on a limb for Kirk. I'm looking forward. Maybe I'll read that next as my finished Challenges of the Unknown. That sounds good. Time for some Atari Force.
You know what I really like about this whole podcasting thing? We do it, and you put stuff out there in the universe, and when you get stuff back, like say the Thunderstrike thing, or you hear that people have like a certain passion about certain things, or then I get certain people follow me on Twitter, like a lot of retro stuff now, but it's cool because you see that people, they're going back, and some people do still collect current comic books, which fingers crossed people still do that. But it's really cool that people are going back and finding those retro comics, and they're finding love in those retro comics too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just one or two. It usually starts big threads where people are like, oh, I love this, or I love this about it, or you get to see some of those covers, and it's like, woo, those covers were on fire. And you would see freaking works of art being spit out on these covers alone. So I don't know, a lot of really cool stuff going on in that neck of the Twitter sphere. Is really positive. It's really nice to see that there's a group of people who like stuff like that.
Yeah, I will piggyback off that and say, we were all reading comics back in the day. Jason and I, hip deep by the early 80s. But when you're a kid and you only have so much money, tons of things get by you. And I think Twitter's been great. And it ties in what you were saying, Delvin. There's people, Kirk recommending Nth Man, and people just kind of recommending these titles that very Crusaders like that got by you. And just going back and saying, well, let me take a look at that, that I missed back in 1986 or whatever. And you're just like, it's so much good stuff. It's like rediscovery of these wonderful things.
Yeah, it really takes you out of your comfort zone. It's like, I remember when we read ElfQuest. It's like, I remember when ElfQuest was big when I was collecting comics in the 80s.
With girls.
And I never got into it, right? I mean, because I had my core books that I was reading. And they're still the core books that I read and enjoy today. But this has forced me to take a look at these things and go, wow, this was really good. And I appreciate the fans bringing forth these ideas, and it gets me to read stuff I just probably wouldn't get to if it wasn't for this show.
Green Lantern asked the question, said, how about Sin City? Is there any love for Sin City?
100%.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that Yellow Bastard is like one of my favorite stories of all time.
100%. And I'll be honest with you, it was the movie that turned me onto the books. And so because of the movie, I was like, this is really interesting. And I read the books, and oh my gosh, it's one of those few things where you can just watch the movie and cheat because it's almost exactly. They've done so. That movie is incredible. They did a great job of translating that book to the big screen.
Really?
That might be the best comic book translation ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
And not just capturing the theme, but the look and the feel of it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Amazing. So, yes. Hell yes to Sin City, sir. Hell yes.
Mm-hmm.
Courtney asked, did everyone have a good Easter? And I was just about to type it, but I'll say it now since we had a lull in conversation. I didn't do too much on Easter. Me and Miranda just hung out. I'm trying to think. I think we went to dinner somewhere. And the restaurant wasn't even that great, actually. And then we went and watched Shazam. Shazam was better than the dinner that we went to. I enjoyed Shazam. It was fun, and it introduced the Shazam universe and Dr. Savannah to everyone. Now, poor Shazam. I mean, of course, it had its few weeks, and so hopefully it made a decent amount of money because now Endgame is out, and Endgame
it's ending everything.
Yeah, just absolute vacuum of black hole vacuum of money going to that movie. But Shazam was a fun movie, and hopefully there will be a Shazam 2. They did a really good job. What did you gents do for Easter?
Well, I was like you. I didn't do a whole heck of a lot. We went over to Julie's parents and hung out with them and with her sister and our nieces, and we went over for brunch. So we had eggs Benedict, which was really good. and then did a little Easter egg hunt for the girls, and that was about it.
Do you know that I have not really had eggs Benedict before? I see it on menus all the time, and I'm like, I don't know what this is. I'm afraid of it, and I don't.
You never had eggs Benedict? Oh,
I don't think I have. I don't think I've ever had eggs Benedict.
Do you feel betrayed by this, Jason?
Oh my goodness!
See where I'm going? See where I'm going with this?
Benedict.
Oh
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah.
I got it. But I'm like, what the heck is Hollandaise? Pat! It's Pat!
Hey. Pat!
Hey.
Pat! Meow, 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 meow.
I had the spotted dick.
Just when we thought we were getting away with it, boys.
So you guys ready to record?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
We're ready for the mailbag.
What'd I miss? Oh,
Oh, it's all coming back to him now. Somebody let me down on the mailbag.
yeah, that's my bad. My bad.
Meow.
That's all right. We made up some letters. Some of them were
We
addressed
did make
to you.
up some letters. We had a good time.
They did not make sense. They didn't.
Nope. They were anachronistic.
Green Lantern HG says, Pat! What fun is that? I don't know why he said it like that, but he did.
Let's go, Phoenix.
Woohoo! Yes, it's a good game. Good weather.
Good.
Has it cracked at least the 60s up there in Wisconsin, Pat?
So what is it?
Has it at least cracked the 60s in temperature?
A little bit. Yep.
Good. Is the snow there still, or is it mostly gone?
It's gone.
Good.
No, it snowed in Chicago this weekend.
Really?
Our friend of the show at the James Bond there, one of our fellow podcasters, Raymond Benson, posted pictures of it. Yeah, he had to cancel one of his events at a local library because of the snow.
I can't do snow for well, it's the end of April. I've lived in places where it snows in April. I live in a couple, and I'm just not a fan. By the time April comes, I want it to be warm weather, and I'm walking outside in shorts. And for the record, that's not Charlotte.
It's warm weather here. I'm walking out in shorts.
Oh, okay. It's not quite. I'm able to do it today, but it's been. You get a couple warm days, then it get back to cold and rainy. Then it come back, then it go back to cold and rainy again. We haven't just met that stretch of warm weather. Being from Alabama, by the time March comes, it's warm.
Yeah, it actually, we got a little winter, we got a little Easter time cold snap here this year. So it might not just be Charlotte, because we got a cold snap, but it's starting to warm back up. And just about finished this Darth Vader, by the way, boys. So the timing here is excellent.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
The dark side.
That reminds me, while you're signing that, I went out and to good old Michael's and finally got, was it my birthday present from this year or last year? The camp? Oh, no, it was from the Comic-Con that Miranda got for me, the Cam Newton.
Oh, yeah.
I finally got a frame for that.
You framed my art. Wow.
Of course. I got now I didn't custom frame it.
Okay, good.
Because
There's no matting involved here.
Because them shit's expensive. But I did get a nice frame. I didn't just get like the cheap, put it on the side. It's a decent frame. So I have to get these projects done before you guys come, so you guys can think that I have my house looking like this all year.
How's that model coming? That Spidey model? Is that?
Oh, dude! Oh, it's been ready. It's been.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We changed subject. Talk about something else.
Yeah.
You're getting credit for your very sweet Darth Vader cover.
Oh, thank you.
Is it like this Wolverine model that I'm showing you right here?
Oh, let me pin Jason so we can see it. Yeah, it's the same model kit company. He's got the Spidey. I've actually built the Spidey one before that he has.
Yeah, Jason gave that to us as a present about 2 decades ago.
Yeah, I've had this one forever too. It's been sitting here. I've never cracked it open. Wonder how much I could get for it on eBay. Just kidding. I wouldn't sell it on eBay.
$1 million.
Let's say
If it's $1 million, it's going on eBay. Cotton candy machines for everybody.
Meow, meow, meow.
Pat, you're quiet.
Come on, Pat. Get in the mix.
Well, I kind of don't got much to
And
say.
time's up. You gotta go, Ryan.
Oh, all right.
It's
been a while.
What was the last comic book you read, Pat, that wasn't Crusader Club or Crusader Chronicle related?
Oh boy. I don't know. I'm thinking. I've been reading 52, the series.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
How many issues was that?
52, 51.
I know. Was there issue 0? It could have been 53. But yeah, I remember 52. I remember when that came out. That was
I was reading it live.
That was San Antonio time frame, right, Jared?
Yes, sir, it was.
Which was 05 to 09 for me. So 05 till about mid 07 time frame. Yep.
I'll be dropping that Vader at theyardsellers.bigcartel.com.
What color did you use as the contrast? Was that red?
Yeah.
Fifth color?
I love doing Vader with a heavy black, and then do the lightsaber in the foreground, and then play the red off of all the shiny spots.
Dude, that looks very nice. Seriously.
Thank you, sir.
Looks awesome.
And since it's your own cover,
Look at it.
since it's your own cover, you get to have it in red. Unlike who's drawing it? Who's drawing the original Star Wars series, y'all?
Oh, Chaikin.
Snap in his fingers.
Yes. Chaikin just guessing at lightsaber colors. I guess we have to put a little bit of that on.
You get a red saber.
I guess we got to put a little of that on Glennis, but we can't say an unkind word about our color me bad colors.
She's all we have left since Mike Espedito has departed. I did a small bit of reading about Ross, Andrew, and Mike, and like they were partners in crime when it came to the pencils and the artwork or the inking for the better part of 4 decades.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. Like I said, I knew they were all the way at least to the late 60s, early 70s from those war comics I was reading. And
they both were inducted into, I'm gonna blank on it. It's a comic book art hall of fame, and Eisner.
Yes.
The Will Eisner Hall of Fame. I think it was about 2007 time frame. They both were. So
they deserve it.
I know that we have used the name or word legend when it came to, especially Andrew, but both of them get a ton of credit. And Noah chimes in. They published their own comic in the 50s called Get Lost. See, this is seriously, and I mean this sincerely, this is the stuff that I love hearing about, because this is a side of comic books that I just have never known about. And you find sometimes people right around our age, sometimes a little older, sometimes a little younger, and they just have that different lens on comic books that I don't. And it's cool to hear about.
Yep. Agreed.
What do you think, Pat?
I don't know. It's been I feel awkward coming in late, but I'm like
Dynamite drop in, Pat. That broadcast school is paid off. We love you, Pat.
Doritos is here.
Yeah, it's me. Chimichanga.
You want your pipes back?
Oh no, I got the pipes, guys.
Yeah, I know you left the bubble pipes.
Yes, got the bubble. Found the little bubble light stash you left for us. He was Sean Connery running the scam again. I'm telling you, man, that guy is not a good influence for you.
Courtney says, y'all still young. Thank you, Courtney. We are all still young. Except for Jason.
I'm just immature.
Yeah, I hear you're only as young as you feel or act or something like that. And in that case, I'm about 13 years old. So
if you're as young as you feel, I think I'm 87.
I had jujitsu today, so I'm actually doing surprisingly well.
I took a 2-hour nap today. Johanna took the boys to Troy Fest, and I was like, "Hey, y'all have fun." I was like, in my head, I was like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do some painting. I'm going to do some audio work. I ended up doing some audio work since I had to wait on certain people for the live stream.
Ooh.
Ooh. You know, that's what I say about my boy Jared. He loves to sleep.
I've heard that somewhere.
I feel the same way, though, because Julie was down doing the Arts Fest downtown. So I was like, man, I got all day to I'll read the comics for the upcoming Chronicles and do this and do that. And then the next thing I know, I was like falling asleep on the couch, waking up, it's 3:30. And I'm like, God dang, what happened?
Where did the time go?
Speaking of, gents, it is
time.
Oh, that's it.
Thanks to everybody who tuned in today. We appreciate it. Hope you guys had fun. Got a video game for Kirk. This Sherlock Holmes is going to make its way over to merry old England.
Ooh.
Yeah, that collector dude. He wins again. I need you to move someplace where it's cheaper shipping. Ivan.
Get him a P.O. box in like Kentucky or something.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll hold your stuff until you come pick it up. How's that sound? No, he's a big contributor, a big donor to the patron. So
yes, sir.
We appreciate it. Not a problem.
And I have to go because I have to change my tire. I started getting a flat tire yesterday, and I got to go out and do probably the manliest thing that I will ever do on a car, and that's change a tire. Because otherwise,
call somebody to change your tire.
No, I'll do it because otherwise it's like, and where does this thing go? I don't know.
Delvin, 42-year-old millennial.
Life is hard. I quit.
I guess I better buy a new car. Mom, can you buy me a new car? Oh, sorry. We love you, millennials.
Yes, we do. We do. We tease.
Yeah.
Hey, Kirk's right. Thanks, Kirk, in the chat. Don't forget to hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It costs you nothing. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and help raise our profile and get more people in on this craziness. And man, you guys in the chat are awesome. Sometimes it's fun just to go back and read the chat and all the stuff I missed while we were doing our recording. You guys are cool.
Yeah, we enjoy the heck out of you guys. Seriously. Like I mean, if it were 2 or 3 and somebody just wanted to chat with us, we'd appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we got about 8 or 9 a day at most. Hey, you guys are active, you participate, you listen to our shows. We can't say it enough. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Tell your friends. We still love you, Ron, even though you're technically a millennial.
Tell your friends and your mama too, because we're about to throw down, and you know just what to do. Wave your hand and like you don't care.
That's Pat making a cameo on our show.
No, do your dance.
Dance quick, mama.
Come on, baby. Tell me
what's
the word.
Longbox. It's the cold word.
Oh man.
Drop $1 on Patreon. Make sure you are heard.
Ow.
Well, I guess that's it for us, folks. I'm going to click stop broadcast. We love you all. Please like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications.
Tell a friend.
Keep showing up. Tell a friend. Yes, please spread the word. GLHG's been recruiting his butt off out there. We appreciate it. Keep it up, everybody.
Pump it up. Pump it up. Let's see how many people we can get more recruited this week. I think that'd be fun.
That's right. So y'all be cool, and we out. Bye.
Bye.